In this video we are going to learn about applications of ICT: e-government, education, health, agriculture, business, transport and entertainment. E-government mean how ICT connected with e-government organization. Example, G to C mean government to citizen. Citizen connect with government organization using ICT. Example, paying electricity bill, water bill. Then government to government organization interconnected with another government organization, law firm and the tourism. Likewise, when government organization interconnect, we call it as G to G. Government to business, when business interact with government using ICT. Example, banking. Government to employee, when employee connect with government organization using ICT. Example, online loan facilities. Then education, will be using ICT in the classroom. Presentation, sometimes to explain complicated topics using animation and visual effects. It will be very easy to explain certain complicated topics. Then when resources available in the internet, can access from anywhere, anytime, then also we will be using ICT. Serves as a teaching aid for the teacher. Teachers can access resources related to topics in the internet. Then the fourth one only we need to consider a little more here, LMS, right, learning management system. Here we need to clearly understand role of LMS for student, teacher and administration. Student, access to resources, assignment and assessment, communication and collaboration, right, can communicate and collaboration with not only with one teachers, right, the multiple teachers can assist students. Then progress tracking is possible. Then personalized learning, they can personally learn, right, they can separate their topics and they can access personally. Then for teachers, content management is done by teacher, then course delivery, grading and assessment, monitoring and reporting, then communication. Rule for administration, user management, parents, students, teachers, right, all managed by administrators, right. Authentication, authorization, providing permissions, who can access that particular resource. Likewise, entire user management is handled by administration. Then record keeping and reporting. Efficiency and cost saving is there. Why? Physical infrastructure is no need, right, everything will be cloud based. Then scalability is possible. So once you implement your network system in cloud based, whenever you need you can expand it, same time you can degrade also. If you feel that much capacity is not necessary, you can reduce, then you can reduce the cost accordingly. Therefore the scalability is possible. Then example of popular educational LMS, Moodle, Google Classroom, right, these are actually example for LMS. Then higher education for everyone, right, you may stay in one country but that particular university offering the course may be in another country, still you can follow the course online, right, distant learning. This is higher education for everyone, flexible and can connect with expertise. All these advantages are there, right, no need to available within your area. Then video conferencing and educational apps, these are the examples we can provide. Then when we consider the health sector, use of ICT in diagnosis, right? All these actually the equipments will be used to diagnosis. You have to have the basic idea of these equipments, right? That's all. Mainly this is actually the one main area we are using. Then telemedicine mean always remote medicine. Emergency telemedicine using ambulance. Home health medicine mean the patients will be right in their premises, but gadgetics will be fixed to their body and remote analyzing is possible. That is we are calling home health medicine. Then telemedicine consultation, without going to that particular premises, you can remotely consult doctors. That is we are calling telemedicine consultation. Then telesurgery, right? Robo can do the operations, right? Surgery remotely, right? The doctor may be in one location, the patient in another remote area, but doctor can assist particular robo device to do the surgery. Then medical teletraining, that also possible, right? From remote location this training sessions can be provided. So these are the basic area of telemedicine. Now here administrative efficiency, right? When you consider the telemedicine, these things we should be able to provide. The appointment scheduling, right, rescheduling and sending reminders, these are actually automated, therefore minimize errors, right? Sometimes when human involves, maybe forget, sometimes wrong information will be provided. Once it is programmed properly, then it is automatically does the job. Then less physical office space, right? We need to have a very big space, only few administrative staff, only they need a small space, but they can actually handle big large scale area, right? Because it is all cloud based. Then physician can see more patients in less time, that's also possible than visiting place to place. That access time will be faster. Then research activities efficiency, right? Enhanced data collection is very clear, right? Remote patient monitoring, we no need to visit right? Then actually from remote distance can gather real time data from different locations, right? Broader study research can actually recruit and monitor participants from different locations the same time, right? That advantage is there. Then facilitated expert collaboration, right? Maybe you can connect with expertise not in your area, in remote area, no need to go and visit, right? From remotely you can collaborate with them. These are the research activities efficiencies. Then clinical and medical efficiencies, improve patient access and convenience, reduce unnecessary visit and cost, enhance chronic disease management. That means a certain disease we need the long time of the treatment, so in that case doctors can analyze easily from remote location, right? Patient no need to come to the hospital because this is a chronic disease, while staying at home, and remote diagnosis is possible. Then increase patient safety, that is actually the pre-screening mean before conducting a complicated surgery or any other medical treatment, first we need to do the pre-screening. So then that infectious diseases, it is possible actually to spread to other patients as well. So therefore that particular risk is reduced here. Therefore we can call it as increase patient's safety. But these actually no need to memorize, only you need to keep the main point, right? In telemedicine and LMS, what are the rules for students, then for teachers, then for administrations. Then when you come to the telemedicine, then these actually the research efficiency, administration efficiency, clinical and medical efficiency, basic idea. Once you get the idea, you can write whatever the question they ask. Simple 1-2 points only they will prompt in the questions. The main thing is, this is the main consideration, this note. In telemedicine, consultation always need a medical professional, at least a junior doctor or nurse at patient side, because that explanation is very clear, right? Sometimes they prompt questions, the patients directly consult the doctor, right? That is completely wrong. So therefore this is a must. The main condition is, for telemedicine there should be a medical professional at patient's premises, right? Then the doctor may be in remote location, no problem, but from patient side there should be a assistant, right? Medical assistant should be there. Then health education efficiency, it is very clear. Expanded learning opportunity, right? Then flexible training and professional development, access to expertise, right? That is clear, no? Right? Even if it is a remote, no issue, you can still access that facility is there. Otherwise physically we need to go to that particular place. Then ICT in agriculture industry, right? It is very easy, nothing to memorize, right? For farming, here meteorological devices, that is weather. This can analyze the weather, rain, heat, wind, right? Then accordingly it provide information, so then we can do proper farming. Automated insect control devices, right? This will actually indicate direction and the density of insect, then accordingly we can do the arrangement. Field condition measuring devices, that is actually fertility and the humidity levels of soil, then accordingly we can act. That information will be provided using those sensors, right? Dip irrigation mean control the supply of water, right? So they according to the need can supply the water. All these are automated. These are the basic area in agriculture industry. Then automatic weed remover. Weed mean what? Identify crops and weeds separately, right? We need only the crops. If weeds are there, it will affect the crops. Therefore automatically it can identify and remove the weeds, unnecessary plants. Then seedling, right? Young tender plants, there are robotic devices, so they can do the job very fast compared to human. Then greenhouse, specifically we use for protect rare crops from natural disasters like too much sunshine, rain, heat, cold. All these are controlled in greenhouse. So mostly they used to grow rare varieties, right? Rare crops. Then ICT in management of farmhouse. So there is actually the RFID, radio frequency identification device, like a tag that will be fixed to the animals, so then they can easily track. So each and every RFID there will be a unique ID. So when we need to count, let's say large number of the animals, we need to count. Once the animal pass, that RFID provide the ID and the device count accordingly. Therefore the counting will be very easy. At the same time locating animal also very easy, because very first time they will feed all the data. Let's say we are giving names for each and every tag, then whenever that tag is used, that particular name will be displayed, then we can easily identify. Then there are automated milking and examination of cows. Then for security we can use CCTV, protect actually farm from the animals and thieves. Then farm management, computer applications in portable computers, right? Then can use, and we can compare the market price, all this stuff ICT is used for even in farm management. Fish industry, so there are sensors, right? That sensors can provide information, right? That fish concentration, accordingly they can move. So these are the basic areas, right? ICT in manufacturing industry, high quality products are manufactured at low cost, therefore the price is reduced. Then uses of robot, labeling, filling bottles, packaging, all these are robots arms are designed. Then ICT in business, video conferencing, different business communities in remote location can communicate, right, with the help of ICT. No need for special venue, no cost spent on traveling, save time. So this is ICT in business. Then human resource management, the administration of employee activities in a business, fingerprint scanner, card reader, right? These actually used for human resource management. Then e-banking system, automatic teller machine, online banking, pay utility bills, right? Then online shopping, open 24 hours, electronic payment method, home delivery of goods or services, all this because of ICT, right? Then finally ICT in transport, CCTV, monitoring the road traffic, accident, illegal activities. Even the traffic light is controlled using microcontroller programming, that means the ICT is involved there. Then parking identification placard, so actually that particular identified tag is, once it register, only those vehicles allowed to pass the gate. Then entertainment, so I no need to explain, right? That's a basic thing, right? Audio, video streaming, all this for entertainment, watching movie, all this actually you can use it as ICT in entertainment. Same time there is a disadvantages as well, right? That is, we can call it as demerits of ICT, right? Demerits of ICT. Addiction, right? These are the issues, right, related to the addiction. Then building unsuitable friendship, social media, improper use of internet, virus infection, right? Then finally what will happen, your device actually go out of order, not function properly. Then visiting improper website. Mental disorders mean harm yourself and the society as well. Then personal lives issues, that is publishing of distorted photographs and videos of individuals. These are the disadvantages. Right now the basic idea is very clear. Application of ICT, first you should be able to name main areas: education, health, transport, business, entertainment, and how it is applied. And basically we have to have a good understanding about LMS, rules of students, rules of teachers, rules of administration. And then in the advantages of telemedicine, and what are the advantages actually using remote medicine. And the mainly always when remote consultation is done, always there should be a medical assistant with the patient, right? So I'll provide this note as well. Then this is a basic thing we should understand related to ICT. then you can answer whatever the question they prompt. We have to have a very good understanding. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.